Welcome to Flipping Houses for Rookies, the only podcast that shows you how to take back your financial freedom and live the American dream by becoming a real estate investor. Without the banks, without the big wigs, and without the realtor's nonsense. This isn't about selling you coaching or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about opening your eyes to the possibilities so you can make real chunks of dough, buy your life back, and become a free American. With over 400 episodes aired, we're delivering everything you need to know to find deals, talk to sellers, structure deals, and win big. It's time to take action, change your mindset, and claim what's yours. Real estate is the key to your freedom, and we're here to show you the way. Subscribe now and catch our latest episodes on YouTube at Flipping Houses for Rookies, because your financial freedom starts today. Now, here are your hosts, Bill and Pete.
All right, here we are at yet another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Hey, Peter.
Hello, Bill.
How you
Hello,
doing today?
everybody. Oh, I'm goodish. How are you-ish?
The same way. All right, episode number 463. The title of today's episode is The Secret Skeletons in Every Creative Real Estate Deal.
I'm sorry, but I think I know what you mean this time.
Yeah.
That's on the title. I think I got it. Go ahead, Bill.
Here's the description. Taking the skeletons out of the closet in creative real estate deals and learning how to dance with them. For years, I've watched investors celebrate their successful creative deals on social media, at meetups, and in coaching groups. Smiling faces, victory laps, success stories. But in this episode, we are going to share what they are not telling you. And I call these the skeletons. You need to see them coming and not run when you discover them, and navigate them, and sometimes exploit these skeletons. This is the dancing part. After today, you will have the full, undisclosed truth about the ups and downs of doing creative real estate transactions. You'll start seeing what others miss. You'll ask questions others avoid, and you will structure deals others will walk away from. Most important, you will actually understand that creative real estate entrepreneurs aren't just optimists. They're realists. If you learn, the bigger the problem, the bigger the profit. So let's get started.
Good.
So let's do our housekeeping first. I don't have too much today. Wherever you're watching us or listening to us, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Please leave a comment, good or bad, preferably good, on what we're doing. Realize that I myself personally spend about 4 to 6 hours a week developing this podcast. So in exchange for my time and helping you, I would like for you to at least push a button on your phone or on your computer and say, yeah, I liked it. Okay. So that's what I'm asking for exchange. You don't have to, but I'm just trying to do that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you do all those good things. Also, head on over to Amazon. Type in William Hawthorne without an E, Hawthorn, and grab my new book, Leads, Deals, and Cash. Leads, Deals, Cash, Creative Real Estate Operators Manual. And I will soon have the workbook to go with it and the certification program to go with it. So you'll be able to get all that fairly soon here. I'm hoping in the next episode or two I'll have it done. Actually, the book is done. It's written. I just need to get it proofread and get my editor or the person that does all my layouts for me to change things, and I will be able to get that published. I've been working on Creative REI replay stuff all week, so it's taken away from some of my time. So that's about it. Go check out the book. I think you'll really like it. It is absolutely the Creative Real Estate Operator's Manual. There is none other like it. I'm not saying that because I wrote it. I'm saying that because plenty of my students have read it, and they have told me that themselves. Okay, digging in. You ready for the podcast, Peter?
Ready to go. And it's everything you said about the book is true.
Okay, you read it. Yeah. So I'm going to just kind of bug along here because I keep getting a spinning wheel. I'm not sure why that is, but
I know on my end, my picture is fine. I just see it on your picture, so I don't think it's me this time. I see me keep going here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Industry secrets. I'm about to break an unspoken rule in the creative real estate industry. I'm not supposed to talk about the downs or the hidden sinkholes that I'm about to share with you today. Why? Well, because they don't want you to know the bad stuff. They only want you to know the good stuff. Or like today's media, they only want you to know what they want you to know and nothing else, even if they twist it and turn it to their advantage. Right?
That's right.
And you may think this is hyperbole or exaggerated, even an overstatement. But after 463 podcasts, coaching hundreds in 3 different groups, I realize most creative real estate deals are built on quicksand unless they get help, the right kind of help. But the big names, I'm not talking about that kind of help. The big names don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know after you get the deal that it's on quicksand. They just want you to get a deal so they feel like the 30 grand or 20 grand or 100 grand, whatever you spent was worth it because you got a deal. Right? And they don't want you to know anything we're going to talk about today because it kills their $10,000 to $50,000 coaching programs. Right? So if you're currently working on creative real estate deals, you got to stop everything and listen to this episode immediately because it's going to help you. And I'm serious. Because if you don't identify these skeletons, they will definitely identify you. They will seek you out.
Ooh.
And often it's too late. If I don't get a story or two per month of somebody losing crazy money, 15 grand, that was the last one, 15 grand, 10 grand, getting sued, I don't get one at all. Right? And I'm not talking about my students always. I have a student that's in Florida. He's not a student. He's a Creative REI replay user. And I've talked to him about, he's making money. He does subject to deals left, right, and center in Tampa. He's incredible. He does it. I would, if he became a coaching client, I probably would partner with him. Except he's
kind of doing okay. He's doing okay.
Well, he's not doing okay because he keeps texting me with questions and he wants me to coach him, and people don't realize it doesn't. I mean, first of all, the fact that he has my text number is amazing. First of all. Because a lot of people have my text number. You know, I don't hide my cell phone number. It's like, because I communicate, and if you're breaking my balls, I tell you you're breaking my balls. I'm blocking you on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't hide. I don't nothing. I'm just overt, right? But more importantly, he sends me these questions, and I feel like it's unfair because even if I did want to help him, it's unfair to my coaching clients who are paying me money, and I'm giving him services for free because why wouldn't I do it for them? And they're already loyal to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
so
it's only fair.
It's like this fine line for me, you know?
Yep.
Okay, so first I want to explain what I consider what an awesome executive is. right?
Okay.
So I should have probably looked up the word executive. Let me do that.
Well, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark that it comes from the word execute.
Yeah.
And I don't mean kill somebody. More like get something done, execute, get things completed, get them done. What do you see?
Yeah. It's kind of a shitty definition because I don't think that this is correct. But having the power or plans, having the power to put plans, actions, or laws into effect.
That's executive.
Yeah.
How about execute? Maybe that would say something good.
Yeah, you're right. So it says the derivation is from Middle English, medieval Latin executibus means to execute. To execute means to carry out or put into effect a plan, order, or course of action.
Yeah, down south, down here in south, we say get her done.
You cut out. I didn't hear you.
Down here in south, we say get her done.
Get her done, right?
Get her done. If
Well, the derivation is ugly.
X would be out of. Take something
Means
out
French exetor, from medieval Latin exetor, exetai, follow up, punish, from X out.
Wow.
Sequel is follow. Anyways. So an executive is what all of us are, whether we want to be or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to me, an executive is the person that in his book, oh my God, I just went blank.
Who's the author?
I can't even remember. Oh shit! I hate when this happens. The E-Myth, Michael Gerber.
Okay.
He talks about how the executive thinks in futures, the manager thinks in present time, and the employee thinks in the past. So to me, that's what an executive is. Somebody that's always in the future and pushing the tribe forward, right? So it's not just about plans and all that stuff. It's about imagination. Because the executive in the book Rocket Fuel, they do a great job about the executive is the imaginar. He's in the imagination. He's in La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the integrator. The integrator is like the manager that takes the owners or the executive's plans that are imaginations of the future. It hasn't happened yet, right? And he puts them into reality and makes them happen and holds everything stable, because an executive can't hold things stable. An executive's number one job is to delegate. So in my mind, an executive is much like an artist. They're on cloud nine a lot of times, and they dream of the future, and they delegate to those that like the minuscule, mundane, every single day jobs, to make sure that they're consistent, to make sure staff are running, make sure that the money's there, all that kind of stuff. But without executives and without the dream of where we should go and how we should do it, most businesses don't run.
Sure. A lot of people don't look at the future. They don't plan ahead. They just kind of go day by day. So you definitely need that type of person.
Well, it's the difference between a proactive business and a reactive business.
Oh, that's well said. Exactly.
Yeah. There's a big difference between the two.
Yep.
Life is like that too. Your mind is there to solve problems. So if you give it problems, then you're going to be proactive. If you don't give it problems, it will find problems because your mind's not going to stop working, and it becomes reactive. Right?
Yep.
So with that said, a little sidetrack there. Sorry about that, folks. Anyone can see, any good executive that can see the tell signs or an outward indication that reveals an out point, or how something could go wrong
Mm.
but is often hidden below the surface. A good exec could see it.
Mm.
So, for example, not necessarily in real estate, but for example, let's say you talk about gross income, right? Every business has gross income,
Yeah.
right? So, gross income, say, is down in a business.
Mm.
Well, let's call it 8% for the week.
Okay.
And the executive does one of two things, always does one of two things. One, they think that it's some blurb. It's only happened this 1 week because things like the economy, or maybe there's an election, or it's a seasonal thing, or John was on vacation, or I wasn't here for a week. I was too busy working on my other thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make up excuses,
Mm.
reasons, we'll call that reasonable, reasons that are not correct on why the 8% went down. And they
Mm-hmm.
skim by it and don't pay attention because they've satisfied their mind with their solution.
Yeah.
Oh, my manager was on vacation for a week, so okay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or number two, when it happens, the 8%, they order a full investigation on why that income is down the 8%. And when they get the data, they remedy it as soon as possible. So the statistical graph that's measuring that gross income goes back up again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's always a why.
Mm-hmm.
The reason, the worst thing in the world, the worst place in the world to be in a business, and I own 3 of them right now, but I've been self-employed for 40 years. The worst condition of any business, absolutely worst crucial problem for any business
Mm-hmm.
is an affluence.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you need to make sure when you have affluence, like you take, like suppose you sell a house and make 50 grand and that's affluence.
Mm-hmm.
You need to dig in as hard and as vital and as tenacious as possible to capture all the successful things that happen for that affluence. Because the definition of success, according to me, is doing more of the right things than the wrong things. So when you have an affluence, you got to capture, like write down or document what were the right things. So that when you're in an danger or an emergency later on because you went 3 months without income and the checkbook is empty, you could go back to that formula that you got the 50 grand from and just reinvent it or reoccur it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Reenact it,
Sure.
and you'll know what to do. But we don't do that, right?
Oh, sure.
So that's what an executive is. So in our case, a good creative real estate entrepreneur spots clues or makes, I'm sorry, spots clues or the marks, like little indicators
Mm.
that seem like they're plausible at the time. Right? It's like you pick up a snowball and you put it in your hand, right?
Yeah.
And then you roll it down the mountain, and by the time it gets to the mountain, it's bigger than your car. But when it was in your hand and you were moving it around, you're like, oh, this snowball, this doesn't threaten me at all. This is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like a little tiny thing and it's manageable, and you're thinking, yeah, no big deal. But by the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, because you didn't pay attention to it and like you let it run on automatic, that's the worst thing. One of my partners does that. Everything's on automatic. All the payments are on automatic, everything's on automatic, and and then all of a sudden I find out that we have a house that somebody's been living in it for a year and hasn't paid rent.
Ouch.
You know what I mean? Like it just,
Oh boy.
automatic is not good.
Mm-hmm. No.
So in our case, a good real estate entrepreneur spots these clues early on. Okay? Which,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, what's the earliest point that you could spot these clues?
Well, it should be as soon as you see a dip.
Right.
Or
The
what?
earliest time we could see these deals is when we're making the deal.
So say that again. The earliest time we can see what are we looking for? A telltale?
Yeah, so the clues or marks that a deal is good or bad or it's going to be a
Oh.
problem, right?
Yeah.
So when I get into the deal meeting stage, so if you follow my system or our system, texting is, do you have a house for sale? Can we talk about it? The opening call, which by the way, this is all automated now, and we don't use this language anymore, but the opening call is the pre-qualification. Like, well, the only way that I could buy your house is if you take terms or you accept terms, pay monthly, or some sort of a discount. The discount could be anywhere from 5% to 60%. Right? But you have to have one of those two, because otherwise it doesn't work mathematically. So the opening call is a precursor to the closing call. Right? And then the closing call is where you actually vet out why the person's selling the property, which I think we talked about on episode 462. And this is the beginning of the skeletons. This is the beginning of dancing with a hidden skeleton. Is because I find that students they think they know, and they don't. And Peter, it is beyond my belief, beyond everything that I could possibly teach anybody, why 98% of the people that I know don't do this. And it is like this. So Peter, if you were the seller, Peter, you're telling me the reason why you're selling is because you're moving to Florida because of a new job. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then you'll say, well, no, not really, because I can rent to my brother and he can have the place, for himself. So you think that his situation is he's moving to Florida and he's stuck. So you're putting the deal together thinking that, but he had a plan B, and you never asked him if it was the right ruin or the right thing or the right problem or the right situation. You never verified it with him.
Yeah.
To make sure that was really it. And then you're struggling to make the deal, and then finally you give away the store in the word is propitiation. Propitiation means you give people gifts to be your friend. So in this case, you're giving away the store to the seller so that he'll do a deal with you. And then you get down the road, 2, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you learn more and do better deals down the road. And you're thinking, you're scratching your head like, why did I ever do that deal? But when you're doing it, we used to call this in the auto repair, in the auto business, the 90-day wonder. The 90-day wonder, we all talked about it, especially at the auctions.
What happens?
A 90-day wonder. You hire somebody, and in 90 days, you wonder why the hell you hired them, because they're not the same person they were when they hired them. They tell you, I could do this, I could do this, especially auto mechanics. I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. And then you put them in and you test them, and 30, 60 days down the road, it's like, I thought you said you could do this and you could do that. I'm giving you these jobs, and you can't fix the car. I got to give them somebody else. So you're scratching your head, why? Well, the 90-day wonder should actually be in real estate, because it's a 90-day wonder. You wonder why you did this deal.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why is because the things that we're talking about today, your due diligence or your ability to read the seller's personality, your ability to read the seller's ability. What is the word I want? Did he tell you the truth or not?
Well, what you're saying before, though, I've run into, and I think, you have the guy who has other plans. He has another thing up his sleeve. You don't know that. Of course, we're hoping, we're not even thinking about it. We're just it's me, it's all mine. I'm going to get it. You don't want to know there's anything else. And afterwards, I thought to myself, I should have asked a few things. And we talk about it occasionally. But what kind of things should we ask? Do you have another plan? If you don't sell to me, what are you going to do? Are there some good questions to just peruse and not be caught flat-footed later when you had?
Well, the first thing you need to do is when they tell you what the problem is, I have purple balloons in my attic, and I'm scared to death of them. So you need
Yep.
to repeat them. So let me get this straight. You're selling the house because of the purple balloons in the attic, and you're afraid of them, right? Well,
Yeah.
no, not really, not really, not really. It's
Yeah.
my daughter that's afraid of them, and my wife is nagging me to get a new house.
Yeah. I heard you do that. You ask the person, so if I did that, would you sell me the house? He goes,
Right.
no. So you
Right.
check. So if I do this, you'll go along. He goes, well, not really. Well, why not? Well, my brother, and the other stuff will come up.
Right.
Okay, good.
Right. Yeah.
Good. I just
So-
want to keep an eye on that for myself.
Yeah. You always want to check whatever they're telling you. If you think you know what the problem is or why they're selling, I mean, point blank, Peter. I had a meeting with one of my buddy's sons. He's in his early 20s, and he's an engineer. And I gave him a lesson in business that was like, I walked away and I'm like, I don't even know why this stuff comes. I mean, I read this podcast this morning. I wrote this podcast like 5 days ago. I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
And I'm not bragging. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm in the moment and whatever. But the bottom line is, and this is totally a Jay Abrahamism. Jay Abraham, I think, let me see if I can, Getting Everything You Can Out of All You Got is the name of the book. A phenomenal book. Every businessman should read it. If you're a businessman and you haven't read that book, you're not in business. It is a unbelievable, stunning business book. Right? Jay Abraham, Getting Everything You Can Out of Everything You've Got. And the emphasis of the book is who's paying you? You need to reverse engineer it. So it's like, okay, so I got this thing, this widget, and I'm going to go in business and I'm going to manufacture these widgets. Well, by Jesus, you better go make sure that first question is it valuable enough for somebody to buy it?
Does anybody want widgets?
Right. So if it's valuable for somebody enough to buy it, then the next question you ask is, okay, well, how many people would want to buy it? Right? Is it like some esoteric or some unusual market? Right? That only, like, for example, I have another friend of mine that redesigns machines, like lathes and drilling machines and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And he's all into it, but like, how many people need these machines? How many manufacturing companies would use them?
Yeah.
Right? Which is why real estate is a beautiful thing, because everybody wants a house.
That's right. Go look out the window.
Our sphere of people that want our services is big. Yeah, go look out the window. Like, drive to the grocery store and you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of houses.
Hey, you want to hear a funny one? How many people do you think need bows and arrows?
Yeah,
Not
right.
many, right? Do you know the one company in the country that makes bows and arrows is in Middletown, Connecticut?
Yeah.
They make the thread or the string for the bows. One company, but they got the whole market. So if you're the only one, it might be okay. Otherwise, don't do it. Oh, don't do it otherwise.
It just, the point is if you reverse engineer it, like, where am I going to get my money? This is the reason why I found after several decades that our deals are backwards. The way we teach real estate is completely backwards, because we're so hung up on the seller that we forget who's paying us. Anyways, so we're way past.
Hey, what was the story about the young engineer kid?
What about him?
Did you tell us what happened with the engineer kid?
Yeah, I asked him who's he going to get money from. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's just stick to the podcast now. So when I'm in my, so we have the texting, which is like, do you have a house for sale? And so it's qualifying. Should I pursue this person, or should I just dump them?
Yeah.
So do you have a house for sale? Yes. Okay. Then we ask a couple more questions, the pre-qualifying, like, would you be interested in talking about terms or get a discount? And there's multiple ways you can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you know that you have a little bit of a chance of them wanting to talk to you, that they don't want just all cash, right? Which nowadays we don't even worry about that anymore. You get into the closing. Now, the purpose of the closing is to figure out what's wrong. You solve their problems. You make some. So there's two parts of the deal. Actually, three parts of the deal closing.
Mm-hmm.
The first part and the most prominent part is the emotional state. Are they flexible? And how motivated are they?
Okay.
The second part is the math. Like, does the deal mathematically make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third part is putting those two together. Are they willing to sign a memorandum, which is technically a non-legal form, but it gives you their commitment of where they're at, because people are funny about signing things.
Mm-hmm.
So if they put their name in ink on a paper, then the likelihood that they're going to push through is pretty high.
Sure.
Okay. Once we get the memorandum signed, we move into what we call the deal meeting. Now, this is where the podcast really begins, and we're like 29 minutes in already. So in this deal meeting is where I treat my due diligence stage like a mix between a crime scene and a medical diagnosis, right? I always go into a due diligence. I always deal with my coaching clients. I always deal with every deal knowing there's something hidden from me. Every time.
Wow.
Every single time.
When you're expecting it. You're expecting it.
Yeah.
Well,
not only when I'm expecting it, but I'm looking for it. Every single deal. I have not had a student or a client or any one of my deals not have something hidden in it. Never. Never happened once.
Interesting.
It's never happened. And the other thing is, on my soapbox, the biggest thing, I didn't even think about it till just now, it's not even written down. The biggest thing I run into is everybody's looking for the perfect deal.
Mm.
They want the perfect deal.
Well, yeah, we're not looking for trouble. We're hoping it's not there, but you got to do what you're saying is right. You got to expect that there's something. Why are they selling the house? Why is it not for sale yet?
There is no perfect deal. I'm telling you right now, if somebody's going to go through the aggravation of selling a house, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
End of story.
But you're smart to go look for it and handle it and get the deal and fix it instead of losing it or being sorry later or not, whatever. It makes more sense.
So let's call this process the deal CSI.
Okay.
Right? For now, like CSI means crime scene investigation. It comes from TV.
Yeah.
Which is a detailed methodology of investigating something to uncover the hidden truths. Right? So our first lesson, or way to dance with the skeleton, is to assume there was a crime committed while the seller was trying to figure out how to cure their unwanted disease, the situation, or why they are selling. So if someone is selling a house, absolutely 1,000%, totally without any doubt, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they just say, well, the economy is really good, and I'm just selling it to make all the money because I'm going to make $500,000.
Okay.
Okay, well, what are they going to do with the $500,000?
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever they're going to do with the $500,000 is the reason why they're selling. Well, because then I could retire early. Oh, okay, so your job's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So there's risk and rewards in everything we do, even eating food, breathing air. There's risks and rewards in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Our seller thinks that there's only rewards. They haven't considered the risks. Our job is to make sure they're thinking correctly on the risk.
Mm.
And guess what? If you take that deal on, guess who gets slapped in the face with the risk?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because if you didn't bring it up early enough, the seller's going to be saying, well, you didn't tell me that. And they're going to try to take less responsibility or no responsibility for it and slap you with it.
Sure.
Now, I know this sounds gross, right? But all sellers don't tell the truth. All sellers are liars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now think of it this way. This sounds gross. Remember, this sounds gross, but it plants the methodology or the think of the seller. conscious or subconscious, right?
Mhm.
Just like a used car salesman trying to sell a specific car that pays them a bonus. In other words, if I sell you this car, you come in looking for a station wagon and he's trying to sell you a motorcycle, right? Because the motorcycle has a bonus on it and he's trying to convince you or persuade you that the motorcycle is better for you, right? Your seller will act the same damn way.
Of course. He's looking out for himself, isn't he?
Right. No matter how coy or modest and even unmotivated they act like, it's an act.
Mhm.
Every seller has a hidden reason for selling, period, end of story, explanation part, done.
Mhm.
So you have to investigate and know why. If you don't, you got skeletons in the closet.
Mhm.
All right. Now let's talk about let's break it down into some specifics, some different skeletons, right?
Sure.
So let's talk about the can't sell the property skeleton.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
This goes with what we just spoke about, the surface story versus the skeleton,
Good.
right?
Mhm.
See, you're going to bring this deal to the same market that they've been using. You get that?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's not like I bought a Mercedes in Connecticut and I brought it to California and sold it. It's not like that.
Mm.
So I had the value add is bringing it across country and going to California where they like Mercedes and they pay more for them.
Okay.
We used to do that in the car business, right? We'd buy cars and we knew that they were at a certain auction, like in Pennsylvania or New York or Massachusetts. We knew where those cars did well. They would do $500,000 more in another auction.
No kidding.
So we'd buy them in Connecticut and ship them to Rhode Island or ship them to Pennsylvania and get somebody to rep them for us. And we'd get more money. It's not like that.
Yeah, because you can't move the house. It's in the same place.
So the seller has already, this is the reason why we ask in the beginning of the script, have you already tried to sell it?
Mhm.
Right? So you need to deal CSI this on what they've done to sell the property before, right? You need to get on that scene. You need to get into that investigation. You need to get into that crime scene
Mm.
and find out what did they do? Because how many, oh my God, how many coaching calls have I been on? Bill, I had this house on the market for 30 days and I'm not getting it. Well, the deal CSI was out. You should have never agreed to that because you were in propitiation with the seller and you gave them too much money or you agreed to things that they were trying to get and already brought it to the market and couldn't get it. So now you're bringing it to the same damn market and trying to get something different. I think we call that insanity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Mm-hmm. So there has to be some kind of value add, whether it's a good discount, like you talk about having the house sell for under median or less, so it's a better offer. Or when we offer financing, that's a great opportunity for people. Or
so I got 5 things that are common.
Oh, good.
So you will often find one, the pricing delusion skeleton.
Ooh.
The pricing delusion skeleton, right? So that the seller's got a delusion on the price, right? Number 2, the house defect cover-up skeleton.
Okay.
The legal entanglement skeleton. Dirty deeds.
Yeah. Easement problems.
How am I doing so far, right?
No, these are good. Yeah,
these are things I run into. Right?
Well, if you don't specify a few things, we're like, I wonder what it could be. That's good.
How about this one?
What?
the market rejection skeleton.
Explain.
The market rejection skeleton.
So it was already on the market and is already rejected.
The
Okay.
realtor had it for 6 months and it was rejected. Nobody gave me, not enough. I only got 3 offers.
Yeah.
Right. This is the reason why we do options and do what we're going to do, which we'll talk in a minute.
Yep.
Right. And then the last one, the financial desperation skeleton. Right. So there is a 6th, what I just thought of, because it would be the greed skeleton.
Wait, go back to desperation. Would you say desperation finance?
So the financial desperation skeleton.
Is that the seller or us as the investor offering too much?
Okay, pick one.
Okay.
More likely it's a seller. We're investigating the seller, so we'll just stick with that.
So well, he's asking too much, and we're taking it at too high a value, probably.
The financial desperation could be, well, I'm selling the house because in 3 months I got to pay off my college funds for my kids.
Oh.
And he's desperate. Or I'm in pre-foreclosure. I haven't paid the mortgage in 2 months. Or I lost my job. Or
so an actual problem.
Well, it could be.
Well, he thinks it is.
Or it could just be, like I said, number 6, it could be the greed gland skeleton.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get too much money because they feel like they deserve it. Because my house is an extra 300 square feet and I got a built-in pool. So it's worth $200,000 more money, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
Now, these are the top 5 to spot. So you should write them down. You should replay this and write them down. And here's my point. If you don't find these tell signs and run down your investigation early, they will show up down the road. Absolutely, positively, guaranteed. Like when your lease option buyer goes to close 2 or 3 years down the road from now, right?
Yeah.
And the title's dirty because you didn't check the legal what do they call it? The legal engagement skeleton. You didn't check it. Next thing you know, buyer's pissed, $30,000 into the deal, and seller can't deliver the title. And now all of a sudden, the skeleton danced right in front of you.
Yeah.
And you have no choice but to get out of the chair and dance. Because there's legal ramifications now.
Yep.
Which, by the way, it costs like $150 in my area, $150 to do a title search. On all my slot deals and my lease option deals, I always do just to be safe. Even though I'm walking onto the deal, I don't want to get dragged into the lawsuit because guess what? The original option and the lease and the slot deal is in my name.
That's right.
So I'm on record.
Yep.
Right.
That makes sense.
Next, we have the relationship skeleton. This is a big one, Peter. This is where we're going to spend most of our time, the rest of our time today. The relationship skeleton. And here is a list of red flags that will tell you and will tell you whether you should do a 2-year to 20-year terms deal with your seller or buyer to make sure they're not psychotic. You ever had that girlfriend, Peter?
Oh, we used to have the 6-month rule with my boys. Wait 6 months, and they would go wacko.
Yeah.
But I found a 2-minute solution for that. A couple of questions. But yeah, it's like this thing happens that after a time. So are you saying that we want to know if we need 2 years or we need more time with the person or not doing a deal at all because they're psycho? You said 2 years to 20 years?
Yeah, because you're going to make a deal with somebody and have to live with them from 2 years to 20 years. Like you could do an order finance deal with 20 years long, right?
Yeah, so you want to know if you want to do it at all.
Because you're going to go into a relationship with them for 20 years.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the test that Peter's talking about is the communication lag. How long does it take for them to answer your question? Does it take them a minute or two to respond to any question, or is it instantaneous? And that's the number one thing that you can always test with anybody is the lag of the answer between the end of your sentence and the beginning of their answer. And the longer it is, the more psychotic they could be. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about red flags. So I'm going to give you 5 common red flags. And you should write these down. Somebody should write these down, right?
I'll get it.
So red flag number 1. The control freak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all of them, and then we're going to go over them, okay?
Yeah.
Number 1, the control freak. Red flag number 2, emotional roller coaster. Red flag number 3, the trust issue tell. Red flag number 4, the financial chaos tell. And red flag number 5, the blame game tell.
Ooh.
So I'm going to give you a few things to look out for for each one, so you know you're onto them. Okay. So number 1, which is the control freak tell, or the control freak.
Yeah.
So they want to dictate every minor detail. They insist on, now listen to this, Peter, because you can scan back the last couple of deals in your head and you're going to see this. They insist on unusual or overcomplicated terms.
Oh, yeah.
They won't accept standard industry processes or ways we do things. They have their own way of doing it. They're like the special needs deal.
Yep. Unusual solutions.
Yeah, they have, and they always come up with unusual solutions, not the way you want to do it.
Okay.
Right? It kind of reminds me of Ron LeGrand in the seminars. But Ron, this doesn't work in my neighborhood. He used to do that on stage. He's like known for that, right? But Ron, this doesn't work in my city, right?
Yeah.
He puts that voice on, right?
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. Number 2 is emotional roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
So number 2 is dramatic mood swings. They go from excited to angry or desperate quickly. They go from excited to angry to desperate quickly. Here's the most dangerous one. This emotional roller coaster, and here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. They make emotional decisions and then regret them the next day.
Yeah.
A good tell for them is they share inappropriate personal drama unprompted. Now, you want to know the drama, but you want it prompted when you ask for it. Unprompted, unsolicited, in the middle of a conversation. And you know these, Peter, because you've heard these. This is the reason why you're smiling.
Oh, no. I had in my music lesson business, I had a lady on the phone for half an hour telling about her cat and the veterinarian and her mother. And she drove into my driveway and started telling me again, like, I got to go now. Like, I can't help you. Goodbye. It was, wait a minute. What are we doing here? I'm not the vet. Yeah, I know what you mean. Exactly. Yeah.
I remember
they're looking for a therapist, not a sale.
Well, they're looking for somebody that will listen because they've told everybody they know the story and they're shunning them too. So they're looking for new ears. My mother's like this. Sean, my other partner, I'll never forget it. He called me up and he's like, Bill, I need you to call a buyer. I have this property. We had this, I think it was Marble. It was a $400,000 property. And you got to talk to this girl. She's really motivated. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Sean, no, I'm not. He goes, what do you mean? So I'm not calling her. Yeah, but we can make a deal. No, we can't. I'm not calling her. He goes, how come? I said, because when somebody has to call me and explain why they need the house, instead of going through my standard process
Ah,
of looking at the house, filling out an application, and they want to talk to me before they fill out the application, and no can do. He calls me about an hour later or 2 hours that afternoon, a couple hours later. He goes,
yeah.
dude, oh my God, I learned my lesson. Oh my God, the drama. And he says, you were exactly right. She's trying to sell you on her situation instead of following the rules.
She's trying to get us to solve her problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So the drama is the mood swings. Right.
Yep.
They go from exciting to end. So here's the thing. You could talk to somebody today and they're all excited. And then tomorrow they're like, I'm not doing the deal. Probably the biggest hidden secret with the emotional roller coaster people,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest secret that we don't pay attention to is they're influenced by their environment or people in it.
Ah.
So all they need to do is tell their neighbor, I'm going to sell my house. Oh, you are? Yeah, the guy's going to give me $500 a month. I would never do that. And now they're off. They were just in a casual conversation with somebody, and they all of a sudden made a new emotional decision. And they're off. They're done. Nope, I'm not doing it now.
Yeah.
And then you talk them back into it. And then you keep going. You get the deal back alive again, right? That's how your entire relationship for many, many months and years are going to be.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
How am I doing so far?
Oh, it's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Because we
Red-
see these things in all kinds of life, not just in real estate deals. It happens just wherever we
Right.
go, whatever.
Exactly.
Your barber, your dentist, your whatever. Family.
Real estate red flag. No, I'm sorry. Red flag number 3, trust issues. Trust issue tell.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the person that wants everything in writing. Even minor points. They want to see. Now pay attention. Pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest tell. They want to see the closing documents before they agree to do the memorandum.
Oh boy.
How many times have you heard that?
Not that often, but that
I
would
get that all the time in coaching.
Oh,
They want me
Yeah,
to send
not
them.
that-
They want me to send them the docs. They want to read the lease and the option before we'll do this lock deal. Right?
yeah.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
They bring legal counsel in before they need to. In other words, they're expecting legal counsel to make their decision for them, not realizing that legal counsel will always kill the deal, because legal counsel's idea, which legal counsel means a lawyer or an attorney, legal counsel is going to say, no, just get the money, walk away. That's the least liability for you. Because the lawyer is always going to take a look at what are the ramifications if you make this decision, and they always dramatize those situations because it happened once in America 50 years ago, and there was a litigation on it, and he found it in his law books. Now all of a sudden that could happen to you.
I think he's just trying to avoid extra work in his life.
Most attorneys are in fear or in terror. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them are fearful and in terror because they know too much about the law and they know what people can do. So they are accusing others of what they themselves would do. And I know this because with my attorney, I've been in his office because he and I are friends. And I've been in his office, and he will write a contract, take it to his friend attorney in the next office because he had his own firm. They were in the same office. And he would ask him, take a look at this. And the other attorney would say, well, if I was suing you, here's what I would do. So he read the document from the viewpoint of how he could sue my attorney and was asking my attorney to change the documents for that obscure case that he imagined in his head. So they're trying to write documents to cover 5,000 scenarios that probably won't happen, or if they did, aren't as bad as what they think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say attorneys are usually in fear or in terror. It's a generality, I understand that, but it often is that way, right?
Okay.
So this trust issue, they question your motives repeatedly. These are the ones that want to know how much money you're making.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones that want to know how long you've been in business. They want to see testimonials. They want evidence, right? And they always, never veer from this. They always, in case you didn't get this, need an outside influence to make decisions. They can't do it on their own.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Red flag number 4, the financial chaos tell. Right? They can't keep this person can't keep their financial story straight. You just sent me a mortgage statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it what he told you? No. He didn't tell you he was a year behind in payments prior to getting the so we're trying to do a deal. You're trying to work on the numbers and the deal doesn't work. He's saying he'll take $175,000 like it's some miraculous number on a house that's worth $250,000. Well, he owes 171 and soon to be 173 because he's not going to make another mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm.
He's a year behind on mortgage payments, right? He lied. This is that person. Can't keep their financial story straight. His bills or her bills and paperwork is disorganized.
And you wonder why they're in trouble in the first place.
Right. They have multiple liens. They have multiple credit cards, multiple loans. They often forget about.
Conveniently.
Especially the liens on the property, like the IRS lien for $70,000. Oh, I thought that was taken care of. Right?
Yeah.
Or if they didn't forget about them, they don't tell you about them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're always vague about their income sources or employment. This person most often tries to change the deal after it's done because of desperate financial problems. So it hasn't happened to me a lot, but if you do a subject to mortgage and you give them, you take over their first mortgage and then say write a $20,000 mortgage in the second position, they'll come back to you later and say, "Can I get my money?"
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen often, but it could. Which, by the way, that's a beautiful thing because if they come back and say that, you say, "Yeah, I'll give you $3,000 now for a lien release."
Yep.
And they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Red flag number 5, the blame game. Oh, by the way, let's go back to number 4. That's why the rule is you have to get it in writing. You don't listen to what they're saying.
Okay.
So, like you did with this deal we're just talking about, he's blah, 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 blah. The first thing I told you is go get the mortgage statement. Let's find out where he's really at.
Yep.
So we got a bank statement that has the real numbers on it. Now we're going to go back and say, okay, dude, here's the deal. You're going to lose this house. So just here's what we can do for you and keep a foreclosure off your record. That's where we're at. Because if we don't come along and help him, he's going to lose it anyways, and he's going to be in worse trouble.
Yeah.
So there you go. Number 5, the red flag is the blame game tell. Nothing is never their fault.
Oh.
They blame previous realtors. They blame previous buyers and lenders or others for their past failed deals and not selling the house and still owning it. They badmouth their neighbors, their contractors, their service providers. They are victims mentally about their situation.
Doesn't sound very responsible.
Yeah. So I ask you this question, Peter.
Yes, sir.
If somebody says to me the realtor was no good and they did a shitty job, what are they going to say about me when I'm not in the room?
Well, it's funny. We do hear complaints about realtors, but the way you said it was different. It was more blamey, it was more critical. It wasn't like, hey, it didn't work out. It was just really critical.
Right.
So yeah, then they'll do the same. Blame the next person, which doesn't need to be us.
Right. Okay, last one for today. The exit strategy and inventory skeleton. We all worry about what happens if I get stuck with a house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that keeps you from buying properties, or it keeps you from paying up to actually get deals. So the brutal reality and truth, and what nobody at all talks about, is you don't make money when you find deals with sellers. You don't make money signing contracts with sellers. You make all your money when you close with the buyers. And the largest skeleton in our industry is without inventory, you can't attract buyer money.
Mm-hmm.
And without buyer money, you have no business. This is like I was talking to my engineer buddy last night, my buddy's kid.
Yeah.
Without knowing who your buyer is and studying your buyer and know why they're going to open their wallet and give you money, you have no business. If you're a plumber, you need to know why they're paying you. Not because you're a plumber. It's because they got a water leak. It's because their wife doesn't like the kitchen sink. It's because the contractor you work for needs you today. There's a reason the person that's paying you is calling you. There is some trait, something about you or your business or your process that is well liked. And until you can isolate that and know what it is and study it and put it in your marketing and brag about it as your unique selling proposition, you're not in business. Which, by the way, our unique selling proposition is buy this house on monthly payments.
Mm-hmm.
So a realtor could have a house for 6 months for $200,000. I can come in and sell it for $220,000 because I'm offering no bank qualifying mortgages. That's my value. That's my upsell. Right? Most real estate investors approach the process of making money backwards. They, number one, find a deal. Number two, sign a contract. Number three, once they have a contract signed and they own the property or they're in control of it, they go find a buyer. And number four, hopefully and wishfully make money.
Mm-hmm.
And the skeleton you're dancing with when doing things this way is, while you're hunting for the perfect deal, because that's why you're looking for a perfect deal, is because you're trying to do it those four ways. Find a deal, sign a contract, find a buyer, hopefully, wishfully make money. So you're looking for that perfect deal all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good that no matter what, you can make money, right?
Yep.
Buyers with cash. So while you're looking for this, listen to me, Peter. Listen to me. Listen to me, please. I'm being pedantic right now. While you're looking for that perfect deal, the buyers in your farm market are using their cash and making deals with other investors or other people that have inventory on the market. They're giving your money to somebody else while you're dinking around trying to make the perfect deal, you perfectionist. They're giving other people money while you're dinking around trying to figure out how you could be safe, you fearmongerer. They're dinking around trying to figure out they're giving somebody else your money while you're worried about, do I have the perfect deal and am I safe? Because I'm a rookie. No. What you need to do is you need to figure out how to do these deals that you're completely safe so you can swing a little bit and not worry about it and actually test before you invest. Right?
Yep. Test first.
So I suggest not dancing with the skeleton in the closet or look for that perfect deal to do the following simple process. And here it is. 1, find and talk to a motivated seller when starting. Right? The best thing to look for is landlords that are renting, because that works perfect for a slot deal. Expired listings and for sale by owners. Now, Creative REI Replay, we don't sell software anymore. We sell you leads. Our leads are as low as 16 cents a lead, and we give you the software for free. Go to creativereireplay.com and go get a demo. Somebody will show it to you. They'll go through all the pieces and parts and show it to you, no obligation. Okay? So first thing you got to do is you got to get leads. You got to get people to talk to. If you don't want to do Creative REI Replay, go on Facebook under Marketplace and look for landlords that are renting. Go to Zillow and get FSBOs, for sale by owners. Call up a local realtor and tell them to give you a list of expired listings, and they will give it to you. Right? Number 2, tell them what you can do. So first, you're going to find a motivated seller and you're going to communicate to them. Number 2, you're going to tell them what you do. You can either do a slot deal for them for 36 months and give them 35% over market value, or you can get a 5% discount and go sell it for cash. Right? And this is all in my training if you go check it out. Number 3, get a lot of these for sale and in a pipeline. So you need to get these get them under your control, right? Use the FRED system, right? Flipping real estate documents, not the FREP system. The FREP system is flipping real estate properties. We don't do that. If you're flipping real estate properties, you got to do it the first way I was talking about, right? Which is go find a deal, sign a contract, find a buyer, and hope you make money. But you're on the hook the whole time. If you want to use the FRED system, we're just using the documents that control the property, right? And we're going to get a lot of these properties on the market. So we'll have a pipeline of 2, 3, 5 deals, 10 deals. We've got one coaching client, she does 5 deals a week. She closes on 1 or 2 a month with a buyer. The last one she did, it was $47,000. She had it on the market for 35 or 40 days, right? For having an option agreement with the seller. Number 4, nobody makes money with the buyer. Nobody makes money until the buyer pays. So get the right motivated buyer and get them executed to pay you. Right? Number 5, lock the deal down with signed docs and give them keys before you spend your dough. So basically you need to study your buyer, and whatever your buyer, because remember, when you put it on the market and you just got an option and you put up $1 or $10 or $100 for the option agreement, because an option, the definition of an option is what, Peter?
Well, the right to purchase, but not the obligation.
Right. So just like a realtor does with a listing contract, they have the right to sell it, but not the obligation. It's exactly the same way the realtor does it, except we just have different paperwork. And they make it sound like what we do is esoteric, or what we do is the alternative method. No, this has been around for hundreds of years, and realtors haven't been. Okay, so this is the way you should do it. You should test your market. And oh yeah, by the way, when you put a house on the market and you start showing it, your buyer's going to do all the due diligence for you. They're going to tell you about the nuclear bomb in the basement. And they're going to tell you about the witch that was burned in the chimney. And they're going to tell you about the school that's got cobwebs and a haunted house. They're going to tell you all these things. And they're going to make the offer for you, just like a realtor. They're going to make the offer for you. So you don't need to go figure out how to be a dealologist like I am. You just need to listen to your buyer, get good notes, and then go back to this and say, if I solved all that, would you do that? Go back to the seller and say, hey, you didn't tell me about the nuclear bomb. You didn't tell me the skeletons in the closet. You didn't tell me about the school system down the street. All blah, 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 blah. That's what you're going to get, right? Here's my closing statement. Just so you know this, think about this as you exit this podcast. Every day you don't have inventory, you're losing money because your buyers are not waiting for you. Your buyers are with somebody else in the industry giving them your money. Because motivated buyers are not going to wait for you to get your shit together. Real estate entrepreneurs without inventory don't eat. They have no money. Ask yourself, if you had a cash buyer or one with a chunk of dough and a high income, and they asked you, what do you have available? What would you tell them? And if your answer is, let me find you something for you, you just found your biggest skeleton in the closet. And it's time to start building inventory instead of hunting for unicorns. If you don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 deals in the pipeline, especially with Creative REI Replay, you're doing something wrong. You're being too strict on the phone. You're looking for that perfect deal. And you're not just slapping shit against the wall like we should be and seeing what sticks. Because with option agreements, we don't have to worry about anything. We just need to do the deals. If the seller thinks that the house is worth $400,000 and you're looking at it and it's worth $320,000, sign them up. Because somebody may pay $400,000 for it. Because it costs you nothing to do it. Costs you very little to do it. Especially with Creative REI Replay, because we find the leads for you and we find the buyers for you. It's all done automated. And now we just recently released, like in the last week or so, or 2 weeks, our outbound caller that makes phone calls for us. So now what happens is when you get in Creative REI Replay, we not only give you leads, because we sell leads, we sell you the leads. The least amount of leads you can buy is 1,000 leads per month. The highest amount, I think, is something like, he just upped it to something like, you could get as many as, like, I think 6,000 leads a month. We just added a new, we call it the Tycoon package.
Tycoon. That's 200 a day, right?
Yeah. The point is this. We take those leads, we put them into your account. We put them through, all automated. We put them through our calculator. The calculator says this is the best offer for them. It's usually a slot deal because it's 35% over market value, but you can change that when you're on the phone. We take a picture of the offer and we text the person, the seller, and say, hey, I just did an offer for you. Do you want to see it? And when they say yes, it sends the offer. If they don't respond, our outbound AI agent calls them up to 9 times and says, we have an offer. Can we talk about it? The AI outbound agent will actually talk to the seller if they pick the phone up. If not, they'll leave a message. If they pick the phone up, they'll actually give the seller the offer that we generated. It will tell them and explain the entire offer to them, and then make an appointment for you to talk to them to do the documents. There's nothing like that in America right now. There's nothing like that on planet Earth. But we have mastered it, and I'm so proud to say this because our software is robust, because every Thursday night we do a 60 to 90 minute coaching call and service, to people ask either technical questions about software or about deal structuring, which no software company does that. And I'm on that call every week giving advice, one of my coaching groups. But our software is robust because for 3 years, we're on that call 50 times or 52 times a year, listening to this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and we fix it. So software is wicked robust because we always get the complaints on the Thursday night call. Other than the support tickets, we're not hiding. Two out of the 4 owners are on a phone call listening to the problems every week. So we're not going to keep going back and forth like, oh, we didn't fix it. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, and have people cancel. We're not going to do that. So it's very robust. And I'm not trying to sell you the software. If you're interested in it, just go to creativereireply.com. I'm just telling you, nowadays, doing creative real estate deals is, you don't have to study for years and months, and you just got to get option agreements or slot deal agreements. Even if you want to do an owner finance deal and you're a little skeptical about it, I tell people all the time, just sign an option agreement for 90 days and take the terms that they want and go to the market and see if somebody will pay it. If somebody will pay it, then put the deal together as an owner finance deal and you're good. Don't commit to anything until you know you have a buyer. And studying your buyer is where the magic is. That's why we say test before you invest. In my entire book, Leads, Deal, Cash, Creative Real Estate, Operator's Manual, goes through this step by step. It gives you all the secrets and it tells you everything you need to know on how to do that. And I'm very proud of that. And every creative real estate investor should buy that book and read it, not because I'm selling books, because believe me, I have no idea how many books I've sold, and I don't even, if I'm making money on it, I don't even know about it. It's more about the coaching point. So with that said, please make sure you like us, make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to our ideas, and have a good week. We will talk to you on podcast number 464. Flourish and prosper until then, please. Over and out.
This has been Flipping Houses for Rookies. The American Dream. What is it? It's called financial freedom, and with real estate, you'll have it. Without the banks, without the bigwigs, and without the realtors' nonsense. Bill and Pete are two real estate investors with 30 years plus of experience, hundreds of deals under their belts, and a mission to change the way you think about creative real estate. Do be sure to like, rate, and review the show. And after that, hit up our YouTube channel at Flipping Houses for Rookies /streams. We'll be back soon, and see you then on Flipping Houses for Rookies.